All right, let's, everyone, if you will, be alert to the awareness of being that you are. Take note that this awareness that in which you are cognizant of your own being as your own being is that on which to meditate. Very basic, very simple. Your own awareness must be, before you can be aware of anything, and your awareness of anything is simply your mind. So you're there, or present, or here, present, prior to the mind, and therefore totally free of the mind unless you choose to identify with your mind. Now let's have a practice of you not identifying with your mind, withdrawing attention from your mind into the simple awareness of the being that you are, very basic. And if you let go into it, it's very simple. There could not be anything if you were not. And how far are you away from yourself? There's nothing you have to do, nowhere do you have to go to be the simple being of the self that you are. Right now, just let go and feel. Let go and be. Nothing that has to be done. Just make a shift in consciousness into the being of the self that you are. You cannot make an object out of the self that you are. It can't be seen. It's just the being itself. So basic that it is usually overlooked. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi used to say it's like the screen on which a movie is occurring. When the movie is playing, we do not see the screen. We don't even consider the screen. But if the screen was not present, we could not see the movie. Well, ordinary life in the world is like the movie. Identification with the body and the mind is like the movie. But the screen is the pure awareness, the simple awareness that we all are. Let's let go now and just abide effortlessly, silently, easily in this pure awareness. Relax into this pure awareness for the next few minutes. Now let's continue in this simple awareness of being. I'm going to share with you now the messages of the past week of the pure teaching in the words of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi. Beginning with last Sunday, April the 29th, which is our message number 1948. Bhagavan Ramana is saying, this ghostly ego, which is devoid of form, comes into existence by grasping a form. Grasping a form, it endures, feeding upon forms which it grasps, it waxes more. Leaving one form, it grasps another form. But when sought for, it takes to flight. What does this say? It says that it of itself has existence only to the extent that we identify with the forms of our thoughts. If we do not give rise to thoughts that form and manifest as objects, the ego has nothing on which to survive. What is the primary object on which we think and give form to this ego? Is it not the body, mind? In message number 1949 on Monday, Sri Bhagavan goes on, the thought, I am the body of flesh and blood, is the one thread upon which are strung the various other thoughts. Let's stop right there for a moment. I am the body of flesh and blood. Now, in all honesty, you want to look and see to what extent you are identified with that thought, if you are, without judgment, but look and see. Do you actually believe that this body of flesh and blood is who and what you are? Therefore, Bhagavan says, if we turn inward, inquiring, where is this I? All thoughts, including the I thought, will come to an end, and self-knowing, self-knowledge, will then spontaneously shine forth. This self-knowing, self-knowledge is just the simple awareness of I am prior to body-mind identification. Aren't you aware that you are prior to being aware of yourself as a body? Look and see. Is that not so? Get in touch with the fact that you are present as awareness even prior to your identification with your body as though your body is you. Notice very simply that you have a body. It's an object to you, which is pure awareness. You're pure awareness. Awareness is what we all are, and we are aware of our body as an object in consciousness. See it. Just see it, that's all. There's no big deal about it. Just be honest and notice it, see it for yourself, and release your identification with the body, and notice the freedom that you are when you drop identification with the body and simply abide as you truly are, in truth, as the simple prior awareness, which is just the presence of pure being. Feel it right now and be it. This is all there is to it. It's no big deal how far are you away from the self that you are. Just simply see you can never leave the self, which is awareness. For this self that is awareness is prior to everything and is the perceiver, if you will, of everything. Tuesday's message, Bhagavan says, meditation requires an object to meditate upon, whereas there is only the subject without the object in vichara. Vichara means inquiry. Now let's consider that a minute before we go on. Well, let me go on first. Meditation differs from vichara in this way. That's Bhagavan. Now let's look at it. Let's look at it. Very simple, very basic. So many of us are familiar with meditation, the idea of meditation or meditating. In order to meditate, what are you meditating on? Some object, something that you're giving attention to, something that you're considering, something that you're holding in mind. That is an object. But in order for there to be an object, there has to be a seeing subject. Notice, you cannot cognize any object without there being a seeing subject that cognizes, that perceives the object. Isn't it so? Now, who is it? What is this seeing subject? This is self-inquiry. This is vichara. It means to make a shift in attention. Shift your attention from perceiving objects, any object, and take note that there must be this seeing subject in order to see any object, and give attention to the seeing subject. Now, holding attention firmly on this seeing subject, trace the seeing subject back to from whence is this seeing subject? What is the seeing subject that must be here in order to see any object? This is the self you are. Prior to the mind, because the mind only functions objectively on the outer world of objects. The mind does not survive when you inquire into the source from which the mind rises. But you're there, ever surviving. You can never not survive, because that which you are is the pure awareness, out of which everything is known, out of which everything is seen. And all that is necessary to simply abide in this simple awareness that we all are, which is peace, freedom, and joy. But to go out into the mind, oh my goodness, what is there out there that we get caught up in the mind, this world of conflict, contradiction, confusion, and chaos? Is that where you want to live? I know the mind wants to tell you, well, where else is there for me to live? I have to be out here in all of this. No, you don't. That is the lie. That is the thief. That's the traducer. That's what the Bible calls it. the thief, the traducer, the liar, the cheat. Don't identify with that. Stay prior to all of that in the awareness. Now, when you stay in the awareness, you can observe what is occurring out there, but don't identify with what is occurring out there. It's like if you're inside the house and there's a storm going on and it's raining outside, why go outside and get wet? Stay inside where it's dry and warm. Okay, Bhagavan goes on to say on Wednesday, realization is nothing new to be acquired. Oh, what a misconception there is regarding realization. It is already there, but it's obstructed by a screen of thoughts. All our attempts are directed to lifting this screen of thoughts, and then realization is revealed. It's already present. We have nothing really to do other than cease identifying with this screen of thoughts. Now, how do we do that? That seems so difficult. Yes, it seems difficult to what extent we're identified with all these thoughts, the habit of all these thoughts, the seducing of all of these thoughts. Be not seduced by all of these thoughts. Stay simply present in the awareness of the being that you are. Don't leave the protection, the peace, the presence, the freedom, and the uncaused joy of this being that we all are. I use the word uncaused joy. Uncaused joy means that nothing caused it. It's not the result of something. It's not the result of anyone or anything. It just is. That's its nature. The nature of the being that we are is uncaused joy. We don't have to earn it. We only have to let go as it and be it. And the joy of our being wells up from the source, from the very core of itself, and floods us with the bliss of its being. And the last message for Thursday, vichara, inquiry, is the process, and it is also the goal itself. Abiding in the pure awareness of being, in the subject, you do it, it occurs by vichara, and it's the process and the goal. I am is the goal and the final reality. The goal and the final reality. Abiding in the pure I am. That's not an object. The pure I am is the subject. It is before anything else is. To hold to it with effort is vichara, and when spontaneous and natural, it is realization. Hold to this I am. Hold to this I am. Stay in the I am. Look to see what it is that wants to compulsively pull you out of the I am. That's the intruder, the mind. But the mind itself is an object to this awareness. Stay in the awareness. Don't go out into this object of the mind with all of its conditioned patterns, its likes and dislikes. Why go there? Stay here. Stay home. There's a war outside. Don't get involved in the battle. That's the end of the daily messages and my commentary on them. I hope my commentary didn't mess them up. Now, in this awareness, are we cognizant as this awareness? Are we remaining in the simplicity of this awareness? This awareness is what is important, for without it, nothing else would be. So why not remain in this awareness which is prior to everything and enjoy the peace of your own being, the peace that you are, the uncaused freedom and joy that you are. And it's possible to stay in this awareness even while relating and communicating. For it's present underlying all communicating and relating. Communicating and relating appears to be outside, but if you stay inside, there's a trick to all of this, a simple trick. That everyone with whom you're communicating and relating is also the same awareness underlying their own appearance. If you stay in the heart of your own being and recognize that those with whom you're relating and communicating are also the heart of your own being, there's only one heart of being. It's like the ocean having many waves. But if we identify with all the waves, we might forget that the ocean is there prior to the waves, and the waves couldn't even be there without the ocean. And the ocean is only one. And guess what? That one is only one, not two. If we stay in the awareness of our own being, there's a magnetic, magic quality about it that everyone is going to recognize those that are in the pure awareness of being, because it's going to send a signal to the pure awareness of being of everyone. Try it. You'll like it. Stay in this awareness. Be this awareness, for it's what we are. Stop being other than this awareness by identifying with something else as though it is what we are, such as the body and the mind. Understand, we have a body, we're not the body. The body is our object, an object to this awareness that we are. I'd like to share something that I wrote this week. I partially compiled and wrote. I've entitled it, The Truth of Enlightenment and What You Are. Some of you last night, or night before last, I should say, on our satsang call of graduates of our teaching, I've been through this already, but be with me again in it, because I'm going to say probably something different this time. And those of you on the call, if you'll email the center if you'd like to have a copy of this, we will send it to you as an attachment. You can print it out and have it a hard copy of your own by just printing it out, or you can read it electronically. Again, it's entitled The Truth of Enlightenment and What You Are. And it goes with the beginning this way. The notion that enlightenment is an experience or special state for someone to have or to be in meaning as a special state or an experience, is a misconception. Enlightenment is not an experience for someone to have. Rather, it is freedom from the very sense of being a someone, a separate entity, a person. Now, tell yourself the truth right now. Do you think you're a person? Are you identified with this notion that I am a human being, you know? I am a person. I mean, let's give me some respect. Well, my loves, that's the cause of your suffering. This misidentification with the notion that you are an entity living in time and space. As long as you're identified with this entity living in time and space as though that's who and what you are, in all due respect, you are suffering and you will continue to suffer for as long as that's what you're identified with. I'm not accusing you. I'm only revealing to you the truth for you to see and recognize and acknowledge for yourself of what you've been doing to yourself, for you are literally a divine being. You're truly a divine being that has always been, always will be, and you're not a human being, you're a divine being. There's a big difference, and you see we're all divine beings, so let's don't separate any of us thinking that I am this and he is that. That wasn't said on Friday night, so as I said, I'm going to say some things that hasn't been said before. In fact, enlightenment is abiding in the pure awareness of the self, which is timeless and spaceless, universal being. Universal being has no beginning and no ending. Universal. That's the self. That's what true enlightenment is. Just abiding in this awareness. Ever abiding in it as it. Inclusive of all and everything. In truth, enlightenment is here and now present as the always already natural state of everyone. It's not elsewhere. It's not to be attained. It's what we are. It is only covered up or concealed by the I thought. Has anyone ever been identified with this I thought? Thinking that this I thought is who and what you are? Well, then you're covering up and hiding the true awareness that you are. If you've been looking at others as though others are others, they're only you. There are no others in this awareness that we all are. Just like in the ocean, there are no waves. This is all an expression of this I am that I am. So all that I don't like is me. Stop disliking it and accept it. Be the love of pure being that we all are. In other words, covered up or concealed by the I thought, which is the individual sense of I, and identification with the body and the mind and the world of time and space as being the basis of our existence. Does anyone get this? As long as one is identified with the mind and the intellect and all of the thoughts that are produced by this mind and the intellect, all of the concepts, all of the conditioned patterns, all that we think we are, this role that we're playing, this character role that we're playing in time and space that we think we are, and thinks that enlightenment is some kind of an ultimate experience, it's overlooked from actually being our true and natural state. Occasionally, there are some who have special peak or mystical experiences. Has anyone ever had one of those? When these occur, they are often confused for enlightenment. In most of these instances, they appear as only short-lived happenings and quickly become past events in the mind. Anyone ever had one? Past events in the mind. Although being very profound and often even transforming in nature, and with their memory and effect even very long-lasting. Y'all with me? You've had those, huh? To consider these brief passing experiences as enlightenment is a common mistake. You see, one's true nature or true identity is that of the ultimate subject, which itself is effortlessly aware of everything. This moment, effortlessly aware of everything. This moment. Don't go away, stay with me. To this ultimate subject that you are, which is also the witnessing presence of pure being, this universal being, which is infinite and eternal. Everything appearing in consciousness is in fact an object. Everything. What does this include? This includes all your thoughts, your ego, your mind, all objects in consciousness. You're the prior, ultimate subject, going nowhere, requiring nothing. For you are as you are and always have been as you are, cannot be otherwise, have never been otherwise. Why identify with thoughts? You're prior to thoughts, free of thoughts. Why stay with thoughts and identify with thoughts? Why stay in the mind and identify with the mind and suffer when you live prior to thoughts in the pure awareness of being that you always already are, never have been otherwise? Can you remember when you were a little girl or a little boy? Weren't you the awareness then? Aren't you the same awareness now? Have you actually changed even though your body has changed? Have you actually changed even though all of the events that you've experienced and gone through have changed? Have you actually changed? Are you not the very same awareness that you've always been? Don't we know this awareness? Are we not this awareness? Isn't this awareness what we've always been? Well, why are we identified with all of these events that we're living through as some kind of an alien here? And looking and seeing all these other aliens and getting into alienistic living? When seen from this true perspective, then the mind and the ego, which are nothing more than the I thoughts, are merely an appearance in the self, this pure awareness that you are. That we all are. We're all this ocean of awareness. Quit identifying with the waves. They're just events happening. Let your attention move back prior to experience to pure experiencing itself. See, experience is in the mind, experiencing is in the being. From the seeing of the ego mind to pure seeing, which is prior to the body mind, prior to the ego in the mind. From the known to pure knowing, in which there is no separate or individual I or you that sees, and there will be clarity of perception. Right now, this moment, isn't there clarity of perception? Can't we see that all of this that has been going on, that we've been identified with, is not me, not the self? Can we see it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, stay here. Stay here in this pure seeing. Don't get caught up in the seeing. Stay prior to it in the seeing itself. The seeing will keep going on, and all of that to be seen will keep going on, but stay prior to it. Stay indoors while you're watching the storm going on outside. Stay inside in the pure awareness of being. You see, this pure clarity of perception is from the pure awareness of being, not from the mind. Make this distinction. Make this distinction. It's not from the mind, it's from the pure awareness of being of the self that we are. Nod your heads. Are you with me? You on a call, you nod to yourself. Just as seeing can never itself be seen by the eyes that do the seeing, can it? Can seeing ever be seen by the eyes that do the seeing? No. Or the pointing finger can point to everything else but never to itself. Can the pointing finger ever point to itself? No. No. Then this pure knowing can never be an object to itself. You are the seeing subject and can never be an object. Never. You're the seeing subject. It can never be an object to itself, which is beyond the mind, prior to the mind, as it's always commonly stated in all the scriptures. If you've read it, you've heard it, now be it. Now be it. May this assist in releasing the self you are from identification with the mind that you've been thinking that you are, and all seemingly real or sense confusion, conflict, chaos, contradiction, or dilemma. Are you with me? Has this been worthwhile? Is there seeing as opposed to see that which is seen? Stay in the seeing. See it. See what is being said. See what is being shared. Yes. There's nothing wrong with that, but remain in the seeing. Know it. Yes, that's okay. It's all right to know it, but remain in the knowing. Don't slip off into the known and say, oh, I got it. Are we here? Now, does anyone have anything you'd like to share? Stay in this awareness. Remain in this knowing awareness. Stay in the being, because the being is what we are. Understand we're here right now in what is called satsang. Satsang is living in this conscious awareness, as this conscious awareness, from this conscious awareness. It's awareness with consciousness, from consciousness, as consciousness, with those who are conscious, not in the mind, free of the mind, prior to the mind. This is where Ramana lives. You're living with me right now. Well, you're living with yourself. Why not live with yourself? I do. It's very simple. It's very basic. It requires absolutely no effort as long as you stay in your own being. But if you get in the mind and you identify with the mind, if you want to go back there and live in that mind, I got news for you. It's going to take some effort, because that's what the mind is. It is effort. But there's no effort in the pure being of the self that we all are. I'm just sharing with you where I live, and I open the door. You're welcome to come in, sup a while, huh? Are you with me? I love you all. Be with me in this love of the self that we all are, the self that you are. Be with me in the love of your own being. I'm with you in loving you. Are you with me in loving you? Are you living in this love as this love? Are you recognizing that love is really and has always been what you really are and what you've always wanted to be? Well, quit wanting. Quit wanting and be. Stay here present with me in this awareness. This awareness that we all are is not any different than the simple awareness in which Bhagavan Ramana lives. This awareness that we all are is nothing any different, not any different at all, than the simple awareness in which the Master Jesus Christ lives. I say lives, because this awareness is infinite and eternal. Do you recognize that you, as pure being, had to learn the sense of I? that you began to learn? You had to learn English or Spanish or whatever language is your basic language. Didn't you have to learn it? If you wanted to learn another language, wouldn't you have to learn it? Just like you'd have to learn with your mind to be your mind, to be your I. When I say learn to be your I, that's learning to use your mind. And you learn how to be the body-mind. But the awareness that you are is prior to all of that. You're that which learns everything. But don't identify with what you learn. Be the awareness that you are prior to what you learn. What you learn is the mind. You're not the mind, that's an object. That's the content of consciousness. You're the essence of consciousness itself, the awareness. You're not the content. Don't identify with the content. If you identify with the content, you got a hell of a load to carry. And that's hell itself. Right here, right now, in this presence of conscious awareness that is the I am. Feel this I am. You can't see this I am, but this I am gives rise to the thought I am, and that's the mind. But the thought I am requires the pure I am in order to rise up as the thought of I am. Make the difference. See the difference. Make this distinction. The I am is before the thought I am is. Isn't it? Isn't it? Well, the I am is what we are. The thought I am is not the I am. It points to the I am. And every thought is pointing to the source from which the thought occurs if we look at it in that context. But what we do is we get caught up in the outward flow of the thoughts and on the objects that the thoughts themselves are fashioning and forming in consciousness, not recognizing that that's all going on in the magical awareness that we are. And it couldn't even occur without this magical awareness that we are. I say magical because it seems magical as long as we're identified with the process. Are you with me? But is it magical? No, it's normal, it's natural. It's what we are. When? Always, right now, in this presence. This very presence, right now, this moment. Now hold this by being it. Not hold it with the mind. Let go into it, relax into it, release into it. And what you're relaxing and releasing is the hold of the mind. Don't identify with anything. Don't identify with anyone. Not even the I that you think you are. But see that the I you think you are is only a shadow of the awareness that you really are. You can't see the awareness that you are, like, again, as the eyes can't see themselves. This being that you are can never be an object. That's what we've done. We've identified with the body, which is an object, incorrectly thinking that's who we are. The body is our possession. Don't you call the body me, mine? Whose body is it? Don't you call it mine? Isn't that right then, saying it's a possession? It's mine. It's my possession. Don't touch my body. So you see, it's your possession. It's not you. Tell me, how could your possession ever become you? Or how could you ever be your possession? It's like your automobile. Is your automobile you? When you're in your automobile, aren't you still in your automobile and it's not you? Your possession is not you. You are not your possession. Make the distinction. And continually make the distinction. Your thoughts are not you. Your ego is not you. Ego, what is ego? It's the sense of I. The sense of I is not you. You have a sense of I. But you're not the sense of I. Your sense of I points, it indicates, it gestures to who you are. The awareness that you are, which is not an object. It's the ultimate subject, the supreme subject that always has been, always will be, it can never not be. It's even present in your sleep. It's just that there's no objects in your sleep for this ultimate subject to be cognizant of, so it's cognizance of no objects. That's all that dreamless sleep is cognizance of no objects. You're there as the awareness, cognizant of no objects. Not thinking that there's no objects, being in the awareness in which there's no objects. No mind that forms objects, that sustains objects, that holds on to objects, no objects. All of that is objective to this awareness. The ego, the mind, thoughts, all of that is objective to this awareness that is the ultimate subject. Are we seeing it? Be the seeing, not the seen. Don't slip off. Oh, I'm seeing it and I got it. No, there's an I now. You've got it. You've recorded it. Be prior to it. Just like the mirror does not know what it's seeing, but what it reflects. It cannot take hold of what it reflects, but it continually reflects. Don't take a hold of anything you're reflecting. Don't identify with anything. Stay as the awareness. Watch the drama. There's no admission charge. Stay in this awareness, as this awareness. It's bliss, uncaused joy, forever. And be happy. Namaste.
Namaste, Ramana.